Thank you again for attending our keynote lecture. And now we are ready to recognize a number of different individuals and organizations who have played a role in supporting the Department of Africana Studies over the years. Our 50th anniversary celebration is not just for us, but it's also for the university community, for the larger community outside in terms of the Black community here in Pittsburgh, and also for a number of other allies who have stepped in and supported us in numerous ways. So we just wanted to share this celebration is for all of us. And so I will get started now with our award ceremony. The first thing we wanted to do is to share a few words from our Chancellor in recognition of the 50th anniversary. Unfortunately, he couldn't be here in person, but he did record a video. And in addition to that, as we go through the awardees, there are some awardees who could not be here in person, and some of them have recorded videos, and others are here. And so you'll see as we go along that people will share their thoughts as well. So we'll start with some thoughts from the Chancellor of the University of Pittsburgh, Patrick Gallagher.
Good morning. I'm very pleased to welcome you to the 50th anniversary celebration of a momentous and transformational moment in Pitt history, the founding of the Department of Africana Studies. This is a really special moment for an essential part of the university. There's really no other department with a comparable origin story. It's an academic unit literally born out of the American Civil Rights Movement. It was January of 1969 when Black students took over Pitt's Computer Center and included among their demands a Black Studies program that would reflect their own histories, stories, and experiences. A righteous demand if there ever was one. 50 years later, it's an honor to celebrate the vibrant legacy of all those who contributed to its founding and its rich history. Africana Studies has been home to several giants of the academy, the arts, and the larger community, and they have left an indelible legacy here at Pitt. Current faculty continue to shape the lives of Pitt students and community members in positive ways. Along with a history worth celebrating, this department has a lively present and an extremely bright future. It's vital to our diversity, equity, and inclusion objectives and our community engagement efforts. It boasts new faculty positions, growing enrollment, and a proposal for a new graduate program. I'm extremely proud that Africana Studies at Pitt remains a beacon of innovative scholarship, academic excellence, and community engagement. And I'm grateful to everyone who has contributed to that proud legacy. Thank you for being here to mark the occasion. Please enjoy the celebration and the symposium.
Okay. Thank you, Chancellor Gallagher. So the first category that we have for our awards is actually a category to recognize faculty in the Department of Africana Studies who have made contributions over a number of years. And so our first awardee in the category that we're calling the Faculty Trailblazer Award is Dr. Brenda Varian. So Dr. Varian is not able to be here today, but we wanted to recognize her because she was a member of the department for a number of decades. She served as chair of the department several times. And in addition to that, she led the department through a number of different transitions and changes. She was in the department and head of the department when the department changed its name to the Department of Africana Studies in 1994. And she contributed in many ways to building up the important courses we have in literature in terms of being able to look at Africana literature. Dr. Varian was the one who made a number of those contributions. And so we'll send her particular award to her. Our second awardee in terms of the Faculty Trailblazer Award is Dr. Jack Daniel. So Dr. Jack Daniel was the first director and then chair of the Department of Black Studies back in 1969 and maintained this position for several years thereafter. He went on into higher administration in the University of Pittsburgh, and when he retired, he was a distinguished service professor and former vice chancellor. And a number of students, faculty, and staff have always spoken about the important contributions that he's made to the University of Pittsburgh. Students who were looking for additional support, who needed financial support for books or for other kinds of things, they knew they could go to Dr. Daniel in order to find that assistance. And so we wanted to recognize him for his contributions in shaping the department from its early days in 1969. And he actually did record a video for us.
I always understood Black studies, now Africana studies, to be a challenge to the major intellectual paradigm of the university. By that, I meant the advocates for Black studies demanded a change in both the players and the game. That is, what was being studied, who was doing the studying, what was the purpose of the study, and so forth. As a successful challenge to higher education's intellectual dominant paradigm of the time, serving as the first chair of the department turned out to be the most pivotal moment in my professional career. As a result of participating in such a major activity, I'm very thankful to the students who first demanded that there be a department, the students who in turn demanded that I be appointed as the first chair. And I'm very appreciative of the current colleagues who saw fit to honor me at this time. So I thank all of you very much.
So we will be sending his award to him through the mail. Our next awardee, fortunately, is here with us today. And that is Dr. Curtis Porter. So come on up. And I'll say a few words about Dr. Porter. And we'll leave some space for him to share some reflections with you all.
Got some weight to it.
Let me sit here for a moment.
All right. No, don't break it now.
I don't think it'll break that easy. Yeah?
But I just wanted to say we wanted to recognize Dr. Porter as the co-director of the Department of Black Studies when it first started. And in addition to that, becoming the chair as well later on and serving in a really, really crucial capacity in shaping what the department came to be. And he is now Chancellor Emeritus of Penn State Allegheny. So as you know, and as you can see, these founding members of our department went on to great achievements. And so I wanted to ask him to share a few words with you all.
Thank you, Yolanda. I think I can safely take this off. I only have a few things to say. When you should, usually they say you should start running when people say they only have a few things to say. But in any case, I only have a few. And the first thing I have to say is that a lot of what we are doing here today hey, Larry, how you doing? A lot of what we are doing today comes from the valiant effort of students 52 years ago when they took over the computer center, which was, I don't know, 6th or 7th or 13th floor. I'm not sure anymore. But what I do know is that we definitely could not have gotten past the black lady security guard that they have at the first floor now. Not only did I have to show her the letter from you on the university letterhead, I had to show her my driver's license and find my way to the elevator. On my own, because she said, I don't know where that's at. So anyway, while we were on a Zoom call yesterday with Yolanda and Jack and, I don't know, 25 or 30 other people, I was asked the question, as was Jack, what are some things that you are really proud of about the department? And certainly we talked about some things. But I noticed that there was something that I should have said that I didn't say. So I thought I'd take the opportunity today to say just at least a couple of things. One, I note that the university holds in great reverence that they have the papers of Rob Penny, August Wilson, and indeed Bob Johnson. Well, what was mentioned in our conversation, and Dr. Lilly. Hopefully someday they'll have mine. So in any case, I recall with great pride that we hired Rob Penny, who had no known to the university academic credentials. At that point in time, you might have best said he was a street poet. Not to mention the fact that he was one of the many who were laying the framework for the black arts aesthetic across this country and in the world. So we proudly hired Rob Penny. We actually attempted to hire August Wilson. The university rejected August Wilson. Many years later, they gave him an honorary degree, which I think kind of made up for it. And also we hired Bob Johnson. So what I'm proud of is that those hires really broke the paradigm for what could be academia, in that we were literally, or presumably, a department of the College of Arts and Sciences. There was no rational academic or institutional reason why we should have a poet, a dancer, and another poet on our faculty. And certainly not from people who had credentials from their ability to read and write and expound poetry, or their ability to put together poetic dance expressions on a major scale, having worked with major dance artists across the country. There's no reason why they should have been in the department of the College of Arts and Sciences, except that we saw that department as far more expansive than did the university. Indeed, establishing or reestablishing a new paradigm for what higher education ought to be, particularly as it concerns the liberation of black people. So that is one thing I'm definitely very proud of. And the other thing that I really ought to have mentioned is that I believe that if thorough research is done, that this department offered the first degree in Black Studies in the United States from an accredited academic department. Other institutions lay claim to that pseudo-scientifically because their degrees, such as they were from African American studies programs, in which they had housed programs which we rejected early on in our development, as you can see from the form that you have, in favor of a department, which we understood to be the primary degree granting unit at the university. UMass at Amherst likes to say that they did that first, but they had a program. In other words, their courses came from some courses from the history department, some courses from the political science department, some courses from their own faculty, and that concoction produced an African American studies degree. In our case, we were a fully certified academic degree granting department offering the degree in Black Studies. And so I believe that as anybody does any serious research, which I am no longer capable of, not that I ever was, but you will find that this department offered the first academic degree in Black Studies in the United States. And so we are very proud of that. And finally, I'm proud that it exists today. And it exists today in very much the same visionary framework that we thought we saw then. A little bit smaller, but time will tell what will happen with that. But along the same lines of a global, Pan-Africanist, holistic perspective on the experience of black people within the framework of this planet. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Dr. Porter, we'd like to take a quick picture with you holding your award, if you don't mind.
Put this down.
Yeah. So, and we can open this up and don't drop it now.
Yeah, I almost did, didn't I?
Yeah. Oh, this thing's heavy?
This thing's heavy.
It is. Look at that. And we put that back on the table. And then you can hold it.
We'll move past the microphone.
Yeah. Let's see if we can get a picture here. Right.
I'll hold it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
very
Dr.
much.
Porter. Okay, the next trailblazer that we'd like to recognize is Dr. Jerome Taylor. Dr. Taylor has been a stalwart member of this department for decades, and someone who will pull you in, mentor you through research, and someone who you always know has your back in terms of trying to ensure that you get through and are able to advance your own projects and are just a successful academic. But he doesn't stop at academics. He's done so much in terms of mentoring people. I just wanted to point out we had a whole panel yesterday as a part of our virtual symposium, composed of several of his mentees. And he established one of the most successful PhD programs in terms of, not PhD program, but the mentoring of Black students in psychology when he was in the psychology department. And got so many of these students through, but it wasn't just psychology students, there were students in education, students in other schools as well, and other departments that were also mentored by Dr. Taylor in the sense that he was on their committee or chaired their committee. And so he really influenced a number of students. So yesterday, the symposium looked at some of those mentees who were able to reflect on the importance of his mentoring in their lives. So he's not able to be with us today, but he did record a video, so I'm going to play that for you all.
Greetings, everyone. I apologize for not being able to be there in person, but I want to share something of my vested involvement over the years in the wonderful Department of Africana Studies at the University of Pittsburgh. And I'm going to start sharing with my current preoccupations. They go pretty much to trying to solve issues of justice, freedom, and peace, which still are relevant, urgent issues within the African American community. They are now, and they have been for the duration of my journey in the Department of Africana Studies. By justice, I mean equity, closing gaps of every sort. By freedom, I mean having fair access to the nation's fountains of opportunity. And by peace, I mean having a sense of security in the places where we live. We have put our theory to test, and I'm pleased to say that we are finding encouraging results. And in a word, we're finding that it is not possible, utilizing our theory, to bring justice even in unjust places, initially unjust places, to bring freedom, greater access to the nation's fountains of opportunity, even in initially unfair places. And we're able to deliver a greater sense of peace, often in these troubled neighborhoods as well. So that's been the story of my professional vestments over the years and where it stands at the moment. I appreciate this opportunity to share it with you, and I wish you the very best, and I'll bid you adieu.
So as he mentioned in speaking about the kinds of things he's interested in, for those of you who know his work, he looks at education-related issues, health-related issues, criminal justice, all kinds of different things. And it's not just, again, an academic focus. For years, he's run the Center for Family Excellence in the Hill District. So taking academic ideas and applying them in a way that's going to liberate and transform our Black communities. So really, community engagement, in a sense, before it became popular, Dr. Taylor was doing this. And this is what many faculty in our department have a history of doing as well. So I wanted to just point that out and recognize him for those contributions. Our next set of awardees are actually in the category of the community collaborators. And so you'll see them listed on the program, and we have several of them that are not here today, but there are others who are present that can, of course, accept their awards. So the first award is for the African American program at the Senator John Hyde's History Center. And I would like to recognize Mr. Sam Black, who is the director of the program. Sam, come on up.
Thank you. I'm very happy and very pleased and honored to be associated with the Department of Africana Studies at the University of Pittsburgh. This means a lot to me because I am a graduate of African American Studies and graduate degree in Africana Studies. So this department means a lot to me. And in terms of our collaboration, we have worked, I guess, for a couple of years on the History Center's annual African American Genealogy Workshop, along with one of our other awardees. And we look to continue to do that. The other thing, and it was great that Dr. Taylor was there, because I recall probably about 8 or 9 years ago, meeting with him in his office, and as we began to discuss establishing an internship program for Africana Studies majors to do internships at the Heinz History Center. And so we're going to continue to try to do that because we have an opportunity now, thanks to one of the University of Pittsburgh's wonderful professors, to put forth an internship program so that students can be trained at the History Center and Archives or Museum, working on collections and so forth. The African American program at the History Center is expanding. We haven't reached our potential, and we're striving to do that. You will hear more about what we're striving to do later this year when we will have a public announcement. But part of our expansion has already taken place. I am no longer a one-man band. On keyboards is Dania Childress. I'm keeping with the theme from Dr. Neal. Dania, can you stand up and be recognized? She is our Associate Curator for African American History. And so there will be more news to come. Thank you. I really, really do appreciate it.
Are the lights on us? I want to make sure we're not. This is perfect.
Oh.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So our next awardee, and I would also mention that another thing we collaborated on was the Race, Science, and Technology in the Global African World Lecture Series. And several of our awardees collaborated with us on that as well. So I wanted to point out that connection as well. Our next awardee is Mrs. Lorena Amos. She is someone who is a supporter of our department, but also a number of other units here at the institution. You can often see her attending events and giving you that critical assessment of how you're doing. She will not hold her tongue. She will let you know how she feels. And that is how we need to operate, because we're not just here to do a performance. We have to do something that's meaningful for our communities. And so Ms. Rena will call you out. And she is someone who comes and supports the department and also expects the most of us. And so we wanted to recognize her for that commitment to the department over a number of years. Unfortunately, she cannot be with us today, but we did want to give her a moment on the screen. Our next awardee is the Dr. Edna B. McKenzie branch, Pittsburgh branch of ASALH, the Association for the Study of African American Life and History. And so I will ask for the president of the branch, Mr. Ronald Saunders, to please come forward to accept this award.
Thank you, Rolanda. Can I use the podium?
Oh, of course you can.
Good afternoon. Dr. Covington and everyone. Before I start my remarks, Dr. Covington, I just have to acknowledge we have some Dr. Edna B. McKenzie branch members here. Would you please stand? The McKenzie branch members, please stand in the audience. Thank you. On behalf of the officers and members of the Dr. Edna B. McKenzie branch, Association for the Study of African American Life and History, I am honored and privileged to accept the award from the University of Pittsburgh Department of Africana Studies on the 50th anniversary of the department. How fitting that the McKinsey branch receives this award for the branch named after the first Black woman to obtain a doctorate in history from the University of Pittsburgh, Dr. Edna B. McKenzie. And I'm quite sure Sister McKenzie is smiling down on us today. Our present officers and members play a very important role in seeing that the legacy of Dr. Edna B. McKenzie stays alive and flourishes. The Africana Studies Department at the University of Pittsburgh, under the leadership of Dr. Yolanda Covington, has played a very significant role in assisting the Black community in addressing and advocating for a whole litany of issues which are germane to our communities. On that note, the McKinsey branch thanks you again, Dr. Covington, for your presentation to our SALA members and the public, in which you educated us on the horrors of Belgian King Leopold II, with reference to the genocide committed in the colonial Congo in 1885 to 1908, in which it has been documented that at least 10 to 15 million Africans were killed and murdered. Excuse me. More importantly, Dr. Carter G. Woodson's scholarship and the organization that he founded in 1915, the Association for the Study of Negro Life and History, provided the foundational basis for the modern-day Black Studies program, which have evolved into Africana Studies. It should be noted that Dr. Carter G. Woodson's work and other brothers like Rayford Logan, George Padmore, Dr. Henry Clark, and other, Dr. Charles Weatherly, made it possible to have the National Museum of African American History and Culture in Washington, D.C. Thank you again, Dr. Covington, faculty and staff, and the Africana Studies Department at the University of Pittsburgh. The Dr. Edna B. McKenzie branch of SALA remains committed, plus mindful of the goals of Africana Studies, and we look forward to continued collaboration on a multitude of complex problems facing the whole field of Africana Studies. Thank you, Brother Arande, Dr. Covington. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we're going to step in a minute so they can get us.
Peace.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, thank you, Mr. Saunders, and thank you again to the Edna B. McKenzie branch of ASALA, who have been putting on some wonderful programming, by the way. We also collaborated with them on the Race, Science, and Technology in the Global African World Lecture Series, and I recently saw this amazing Black History Quiz Bowl that the Edna B. McKenzie branch put on, and they're trying to, and have been reaching out to get our students involved, and so we're going to try and make that happen the next time, because Pitt needs to represent. But it was a wonderful event, and so for any of you who are interested, please think about joining and following, going to the website and seeing the events that they're having, because they're wonderful, wonderful, well-planned events. Our next awardee is not able to be with us today, but he did actually send some remarks that my colleague would like for me to read. I'll just pass them on. So this is Mr. Fred Logan. I'm sure many of you know Mr. Logan. He does go to a number of events on campus and of course in the community as well. Like Ms. Amos, he is very involved and very vocal and also very committed to the flourishing of not just academic ideas around Black history and Black people, but also other kinds of events that impact Black communities as well. So he did send some remarks, and I will share them with you. Asante Sana, Africana Studies. At his very best, Fred Logan is a social, cultural, and political product of Black Pittsburgh. For all of my many faults, I lay the blame entirely on myself. I am very fortunate to have witnessed firsthand some of the countless epic social struggles Black Pittsburgh has waged during my lifetime, and I am very, very fortunate to have participated in at least a few of these ongoing struggles. The campus and community struggle is vitally important to both Black studies and the Black community. It was an extremely difficult struggle 50 years ago when the University of Pittsburgh Black Studies Department was created, and it is still an extremely difficult struggle 50 years later today. I have 3 campus and community proposals for Africana Studies to consider. First, I recommend Africana Studies develop the mechanics to provide information to the community on the very important work of national organizations and institutions dedicated to Black studies. The National Conference of Black Political Scientists and the Association for the Worldwide Study of the African Diaspora are 2 examples. As I recall, the Association for the Study of African American Life and History, the African Heritage Study Association, and OSWAD have all met in Pittsburgh. And it's true, they've all held their conferences here. Second, I recommend Africana Studies do a 2-year trial run for a campus and community roundtable that will be held twice each school year. First in late October or early November, the second in late March or early April at the university. The purpose is for an exchange and update on issues important to Africana Studies and the Black community. Third, I strongly encourage Africana Studies to organize and research the papers of the former department chairman, Rob Penny. His papers are now housed in the university archives, and this is something that Mr. Logan was advocating for over and over again. Rob's papers are one of, if not the best collection of material covering a wide range of local cultural and political activities over a 40-year period. I am fortunate to be one of the many people who Rob Oba assisted with projects in the community. So thank you to Mr. Logan for those comments. Our next awardee is the Afro-American Historical and Genealogical Society, represented today with their president, Mrs. Marlene Branson. Please come forward.
Good afternoon, or good evening, I should say. I would like to thank Dr. Covington Ward and the Department of Africana Studies for selecting the Afro-American Historical and Genealogical Society of Pittsburgh to receive this award in a category of community contributions to the Department of Africana Studies. I congratulate the department for persevering for 50 years. That is a long time. And like many programs that are meant to benefit African Americans, there are ups and downs and often obstacles along the way. Nonetheless, there are remarkable people working in these programs who are dedicated and devoted to advancing the study, research, interpretation, production, and dissemination of knowledge, which is the mission of the department. In April 1991, a small group of men and women met and organized the Western Pennsylvania African American Historical and Genealogical Society, which later became known as the Afro-American Historical and Genealogical Society Pittsburgh chapter, affectionately known as AUGS. The society received its charter from the National Afro-American Historical and Genealogical Society in Washington, D.C. at the May 1991 conference in Washington, D.C. Executive Director Roland Barksdale Hall and Gladys Nesbitt, President, were present to receive the charter. The Society's purpose is to enhance the heritage of African Americans, to provide a forum for individuals to research, network, and share genealogical and historical research methodology, to work cooperatively with other chapters and groups to exchange ideas and experiences, to encourage the collection of memoirs, diaries, documents, artifacts, and records of importance to African American research, and to participate in the programs and activities of the National Society. Since its founding, AUGS has hosted more than 100 programs and has had as its partners the Senator John Heinz History Center, the Jesus Christ Church of Latter-day Saints, the Homewood branch of the Carnegie Library, the Association for the Study of African American Life and History, Soldiers and Sailors National Military Memorial and Museum, as well as the Department of Africana Studies. It is my hope that AUGS will continue to partner with the Department of Africana Studies and become even more committed to celebrating the lives of all Africana people all over the world. Thank you.
And just to note, OGS, the Pittsburgh chapter of OGS, also partnered with us on that lecture series, and in addition, invited us, along with the African American program at the Senator John Heiss History Center, to partner with them on the genealogical workshop. So we've worked and collaborated together on that for the last several years. So thank you again, and congratulations on your award. So the next category of awards, actually is one more on the Community Collaborator Award, and this is Mr. Salah Uddin. So Mr. Salah Uddin is well known around Pittsburgh for his contributions and especially to the Black community, but also advocating for Black families and Black children. He's currently on the school board for the City of Pittsburgh Public Schools, and he has a number of words to share about his connection to the department. So with no further ado, I'll pass it on to Mr. Salah Uddin, who's sharing some words through video.
Afternoon. I am pleased to be able to join you, even though it's virtual. I'm able to join you nonetheless. And I'm both happy and sad. A half century has gone by, and I am happy that people are still in the fight and determined to fight against systemic racism and injustice. I'm sad also that it takes so long to win this battle. But I am glad to see that there are people who are still in the fight against systemic racism and oppression, and happy that people still cling to the recant of Nelson Mandela, who inspired us all when he said, "A luta continua," the struggle continues. No matter how long it takes, we're in it to win it. Thank you for keeping up the struggle. Thank you for remembering. And don't forget, freedom is a constant struggle. Thank you.
So I wanted to share that Mr. Uddin also participated in a virtual panel that we had last semester to talk about some of the community collaborations and impact of the community on the department and connections with the department. And one of the things he really tasked us with doing is really looking more into the community contributions to the founding of the department. So understanding that it wasn't just the students, but that, of course, the community also played a role. And so he reminded us of that a number of times, and we hope to take on that task to flesh that out as well. Next, we're moving to the next category of awards, which is the categories to recognize allies of the department. So these are people and actually departments and individuals at the University of Pittsburgh whom have collaborated with our department in a number of different ways. The first awardee for the Allies Award is the Global Studies Center at the University of Pittsburgh. Please come on.
Thank you, Yolanda. Well, it's great to be back at the University of Pittsburgh. I've been away for 15 years. I'm serving now as the interim director of the Center for Global Studies, and most of the thanks for the collaborations between the Africana Studies Department and Global Studies should go to our Associate Director, Veronica Dristis. Veronica, will you stand up for a second? She's great. And Michael Goodhart, who's not here, he's in Sweden. But nevertheless, I'm here to accept this award. I just want to say a few things. The Global Studies Center, for those of you who are not familiar with it, is one of the youngest programs under the USIS umbrella at the University of Pittsburgh. Our DNA is about collaboration and partnership. And we are so delighted of the history we've had in our short lifespan with the Department of Africana Studies, because our partnerships and collaborations have really focused on the three core missions of the university: the research, the teaching, and the service. In terms of research, it's our partnership with you that we've been able to offer travel grants to faculty in the department. We were able to work with you on a GAP, a Global Academic Partnership Program, that looked at the worldwide African diaspora in 2011. We've hosted a faculty fellow in the center. When it comes to the teaching, we've been able to co-host with you the series on the 1619 project. Our students, and I should say your students in particular, did so well in the global health competition. And that when it comes to outreach, we've been able, thanks to you, to expand our K through 12 program, particularly looking at the history of anti-Black racism, the history and the ideology. So thank you for the collaboration. Thank you for this award. And we look forward to many more years of working closely together with you. Thank you. Oh, sorry. I'm William Brustein. So thank you for reminding me.
Not a problem. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And he definitely covered a lot of that territory. We collaborated on the 1619 project. Our faculty member, Michelle Reed Vasquez, was a Global Studies Fellow, so a lot of that. And then we also did a mini course on COVID-19 that we collaborated on, and another mini course. I'm forgetting Veronica, what was the one before the COVID-19? There was either anti-Black racism or...
The anti-Black racism and police brutality.
Police brutality. We did a mini course on that as well. So our faculty providing the instructional capacity, with Global Studies bringing a number of students together doing the advertising. We did a lot of amazing collaborating. So just wanted to point out that you all are an ally that we really, really hold close to heart. So thank you so much. Our next awardee is the Center for African Studies. So I'm going to ask for the Associate Director of the Center to come up. This is Dr. Macrina Lele.
Thank you.
Yeah? You want to come in and stand over and give some comments?
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Yolanda. Thanks, Aronde. Thanks the Department of Africana Studies for this wonderful recognition. My name is Macrina Lele. I'm the Associate Director for the Center for African Studies. We are younger than the Global Studies. So when we were born, we didn't have a home. So we were housed in the Department of Africana Studies. So we were housed there until when we had a home, then we moved out. So our collaboration goes a long way. But we also have a deep shared vision to educate our students about Africa. Africa is a misunderstood place. So we work hard and we work in collaboration to really help enhance understanding and appreciation of this continent that has given so much, but very underappreciated. So we are really working together on this. We do a lot of programming, shared programming. We've hosted the Race, Science, and Technology together. We do the Critical Research on Africa series together with the Department of Africana Studies, and a lot of other things, including outreach. And our biggest program is the Model African Union for high school students. So we figure that most of our school students don't have an opportunity really to learn about Africa. So we started this program where we said that even if it's a little, we just give them a taste of it and, pick their curiosity. And who knows, they might continue to do it. And we've had a lot of success. So I won't take too much time, but I just wanted to say we are very happy. We are honored, and I'm accepting this on behalf of my colleagues at the Center for African Studies. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So She said everything I needed to say, but we've been long-term collaborators as well. And we can always depend on the Center for African Studies to work with us on a number of different initiatives. So I just wanted to highlight that long-standing commitment to making sure our students learn about Africa, but also the programming and other kinds of outreach as well. Our next awardee in the Allies Award category is the Department of History. Come on up.
Thank you very much.
Good contingent here.
Yeah, we're here.
We travel in
Yes,
Great.
the gang. Good evening, everybody. My name is Diego Holstein. I am serving as the chair of the History Department. I would like to thank you very much for this award. I announced that at the last meeting of the Department of History, and there was plenty of excitement and gratitude for this recognition that you are vesting on us. We definitely recognize ourselves as a long-lasting ally of the history of the Africana Studies Department. This is a multi-generational collaboration. So I would like to congratulate you colleagues in the department for the 50th anniversary. And I would like also to invite my colleagues to share this excitement that, as I said, goes throughout several generations of historians in the department. And some of us are here in this small delegation to share this gratitude and excitement. Thank you very much, Yolanda. Thank you very much, colleagues. Larry, please.
I'm supposed to.
You hold
we have
this?
to hold this if we speak?
Yes.
No, yeah, you speak for the rest of us, Larry.
Well, I'm glad to be here, and I want to thank the Department of Africana Studies for my whole job and my career here at the University of Pittsburgh. You know, when the Black Action Society staged that sit-in at the computer center here, they demanded a department of Black Studies, and they also demanded a course in Black history. And to show the power of that the department had at the time, at the Black Action Society had at the time, when I came, I can still remember, I was interviewed and I had to pass muster with the department or with those activists, not just the history department. And we all went out to lunch, and I got a pretty good grilling. It was fun, but it was a good grilling. And I really enjoyed my years here working with the department. My courses were cross-listed, and it was Curtis Porter. And the rest of us go way back. Of the way in which the department itself of Africana Studies was really quite impressive there. The name of the department was DB CERD, or was called DB CERD, Department of Black Community Education, Research, and Development, because the emphasis was on acting in the community, taking knowledge gained at the university to the community. And people were very serious about it, and there was a lot of activity. It was part of the Black culture movement, Black arts, and Black power movement of the time. I remember they were located on Craig Street, where Lulu's Noodles are today, right? And the walls were painted solid black, red, and green. And let me tell you, that really put the message out there that we are an Afrocentric department. And Pitt was known as one of the, if not the most Afrocentric Black Studies departments in the country. And there was a lot of energy and a lot of activity in that department. Every Friday, I believe every Friday, there was a forum that was held where faculty and anyone else who came by could present a paper or give us a short talk on what they were interested in, what they were doing, and we'd have a discussion and conversation. And this could involve people from the community as well as people from the department. So there was a lot of energy in that department, and it was really a good time. It's been 50 years, I've got to say. They go fast when you're having fun. Okay, thank you again.
Thank you.
think we're okay. We're good. No,
You're good?
No, we're fine. I think we've said it all.
I'm gonna come for the picture.
Yeah,
Come to the center. Please, come to the center.
I'll come in the center.
Well, here, why don't you get next?
Oh, here are the
Well,
we have to. Are we okay?
That's fine.
where are we going?
Help us out. Yeah.
Thank
Okay,
you.
Thank you very much.
So much.
Congratulations on the 50th anniversary.
Okay. So I guess I get to keep this, huh?
Thank you.
No.
Thank you. Sorry. No problem. All right. This is great. Okay. And they gave a lot of information and some recent collaborations we also did with the Department of History. Besides some smaller events, we collaborated with having an event featuring Sophia Noble, who the author of Algorithms of Oppression. So we actually put that on together. So just recognizing the important roles that the Department of History has played over a long period of time in supporting the Department of Africana Studies. Our next awardee in the Allies Award category is the Center for Bioethics and Health Law. So, Mr. Parker, come on up.
Well, thank you so very much. I am honored to receive this on behalf of all of my colleagues in the Center for Bioethics and Health Law. We're delighted to be recognized as allies. And especially today, listening to the history and the activities of the department, I'm so aware of 3 ways in which we really align with the department. There's alignment between the center and the department in our activities and our goals. This department was interdisciplinary before the university knew what interdisciplinary was. And I don't know, maybe the university knew, but I know we've struggled with interdisciplinarity. Yeah. And our center struggles to maintain the kinds of interdisciplinary collaborations, the second point of alignment, that sometimes the university doesn't really support financially, structurally, and with its forms of recognition. And you have today collaborations and interdisciplinarity, and I'm grateful for that, and it's something that we hope to really continue to advance. And then finally, the intersection and the alignment of academic work with activist work, with goals of real improvement in the world, that I think is something that our center also shares with this department. And we look forward to continuing our collaborations and hope to work towards some research and maybe curriculum and programming at the intersection of health and human flourishing and justice. And we really look forward to working with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And we have one more nominee in this category of allies. This is an award for Mr. Robert Hill, who's the former Vice Chancellor for Public Affairs at the University of Pittsburgh. Now, I was hoping to see Mr. Hill this evening. He'd initially indicated he could make it, but perhaps something came up. But I will point out that I don't know if you all remember some of the events that Mr. Robert Hill would put on, but these were events that were just memorable, well done, elegant, amazing, and making sure that they showcase Black culture and Black contributions. So for example, co-sponsoring the OSWAD, the Pittsburgh Conference for OSWAD, he actually helped us to put that on. in addition to the Department of History, Africana Studies. We did all of that together. Is it Blue, Black, and Gold publications that he put out about the history of African Americans at the University of Pittsburgh. And well done publications. I wish I could find, I have one somewhere in one of my boxes, but you know, these were amazing publications.
Yes, they were.
They were very nice, very well done, beautiful images, just highlighting the Black history of the University of Pittsburgh. There was an exhibit he did when they found some documents related to the history of slavery in the region that he also made sure to put up in a digital form and other kinds of contributions like that as well. He had his hand involved in that. So we just wanted to recognize him for these kinds of really visible kinds of contributions he made to highlighting the Black presence at Pittsburgh, at the University of Pittsburgh, but also some of the things you don't know about that he tried to do, sponsoring people. I remember getting a 40 under the New Pittsburgh Courier Award for the 40 under 40. I'm like, how did they even get my name? Who do you think actually gave my name to them? It was Robert Hill, right? He did these kinds of things that he would do to try and make sure that our Black faculty felt welcome on campus. We're very, very critical to faculty retention. So I just wanted to recognize him for all of those efforts. Thank you. Our last category, and definitely not least, is for Black community engagement. So in this particular category, we are handing out certificates of recognition and a special gift for a number of prominent people in Black Pittsburgh who have made a huge impact on our city and especially on our Black communities in the region. So we have a few people listed here that are not here today, and so I'm not going to go through every single slide for them. We'll just have one that brings it all together. We wanted to recognize Mayor Ed Gainey, who is the new, of course, and first African American mayor for the city of Pittsburgh. We wanted to recognize also Councilman Daniel Lavelle of District 6 of the city of Pittsburgh as well for his contributions. We wanted to recognize Representative Summer Lee of the 34th District of Pennsylvania for her contributions as well. We also wanted to recognize Jake Wheatley, who is currently Chief of Staff for the Mayor's Office, but has a longer career in terms of politics and community engagement. And so we wanted to recognize him as well. Our last awardee in this category is actually here with us today, so we wanted to give some time for her to share a few words. And so in the category for Black community engagement, we wanted to recognize Mrs. Esther Bush, former president of the Urban League of the city of Pittsburgh.
Thank you. She's the left hand. Wow. Mine is different. Outstanding.
This is actually from
So this is a South African shield. And so when I was the one that picked all the awards. So when we're thinking about awards, when I looked at everybody that was in that category, all the fighting that you have done for the city, this is your protection, but also your guard for when you go out there to do more battles.
No. Oh, wow. I was looking to feel how heavy the other reward was. Thank you so much. I really am taken aback by this. Thank you. And I was sitting there just feeling so proud. So proud of today and the acknowledgments. And so proud, I said, I know these folks. I'm saying that sincerely because we cannot do anything independent of the other if we're working toward the same goals. I said, okay, Bush, you can't talk about everybody on here that you know. But when I look at your department's history, I graduated from Westinghouse High School in 1969. So I always remember when I look at two of the names that are listed here, Dr. Curtis Porter. Curtis ran an urban league. Curtis also is somebody that told me about what went on here at Pitt. So the education and the support and the respect that I have for this department and Pitt. Jack Daniels helped my sister get her doctorate from Pitt. When I came to become the president of the Urban League in Pittsburgh, Jack Daniel reached out to me and said, Ms. Bush, come here. He helped me with so much in terms of what Pitt could provide to the Urban League, including, I don't know if I'm supposed to say this out loud, but it was legal. Folks from the Urban League could take courses at Pitt free. We had to pay all the fees, okay? But the classes, I looked down this list and Dr. Vernell Lilly, the Urban League of Greater Pittsburgh, I had gone to Africa several times. I came to Pittsburgh and I sponsored 2 or 3 additional trips to Africa. And I invited the colleges and universities to, well, Pitt, you all have courses in England and Italy and here and there. You're international. Mr. Nortenberg, would you send some of your kids to Africa with me? Well, I don't know. By the time I finished, and it was a process, and where's the lady that heads the Africana Studies Department? Okay, Center for African Studies. I wanted you to know this, and we can talk later, because maybe it's time for them to do this again. Very seriously. They ended up sponsoring a half dozen Pitt students, more than any other college that sent students with us. We visited the slave castles, you know, that whole thing. And then the other slice of that was Dr. Vernell Lilly brought some of her students, and they performed in Ghana with me. And so as I look at this, I mean, Larry Glasgow, the Urban League has honored him. These organizations, I just want to say to you, to all of you here today, and I'm going to stop right now, I am so filled with pride for what this department has become, for what you have contributed, not just to the city of Pittsburgh, but across the country, across the world. Know that you have to keep doing it, and thank you so much for recognizing whatever contributions I have made. And it's because it's what everybody has already said. We're doing it because it needs to be done. And we can't stop until it's done. I'm going to stop there before I really get into a speech, because today has been awesome. And thank you so much. All of you are awesome. And I also have to say this. I looked down the list. I said, you're the only non-elected official in this category. So thank you. This is fabulous.
Thank you. And Aranda, we have her certificate also.
Thank you so much. We're going to keep him.
Oh, I know. Right.
You're quite welcome.
Thank you again.
Absolutely.
So that concludes our awards program. Thank you all so much for coming out and helping to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the founding of the Department of Africana Studies. Have a wonderful evening.